Imagine if I told you you had one day to live. What would you do differently? For most of us, this thought seems like it's very far away, but the truth is, none of us know how much time we actually really have. We go through life thinking that there's more time to fix relationships, follow our dreams, and find joy. But what if this mindset is actually holding us back from truly living? I'm a 28-year-old content creator and digital marketer with years of experience of going viral and creating stories, and today I'll be talking to you about something that is especially important to me from a book that I read from a billionaire. As you guys know, and you've probably followed my channel at this point, and if you have, you probably realized that I built a business from 0 to 6 figures. It's an SMMA model, essentially a social media marketing agency, right? So luckily, I've been able to garner a bunch of clients around the US, and it's been a lot of hard work, but it's been really fun doing it nonetheless. However, one particular client who is a real estate agent, he actually introduced me to a billionaire. I don't think there's a lot of people that you can meet on a given basis that is literally worth $1 billion, but nonetheless, I met this billionaire through him, right? So we were having lunch. We go to this cafe, and you know, I pretty much ask every single wealthy person that I know, what books do they recommend? And on top of that, I always try to ask them life advice and this, that, and the third, but mainly specifically, or especially what books they're reading, right? Or what books are super important for life. And this billionaire in particular, he basically mentioned this book called Tuesdays with Morrie. And if you haven't read it, it's basically a story about a journalist rekindling his relationship with his dying teacher, right? And their relationship grows as the book goes on, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but essentially this person, which his name is Morrie Schwartz, this is actual real life, right? So this actually happened. Basically gives him the ideas or principles behind some of the most important concepts in life and how he could live them effectively given a certain situation that's happening in the book. Not going to spoil it for you guys, but you should read it. And in Tuesdays with Morrie Schwartz, he basically shares the idea, or essentially a powerful truth, that if you know how to die, then you know how to live, right? Which is a quote that this billionaire happened to tell me about this book before even mentioning the book in the first place. And it's a lesson that might sound a little bit abstract, but stick with me because I'm gonna explain how it basically changed my life, and I know it could do the same for you. So first of all, let's unpack that idea. So if you know how to live, then you know how to die. If you know how to die, then you know how to live. A little bit abstract, because to be honest, it's just completely jarring. It's like, why would you say that about life? Like, it's like you have to die in order to live? What's that all about? But essentially, in the book, Morrie is slowly passing away because of an illness. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. And he's passing away from a sickness, and his wisdom, it comes from facing his reality in a multitude of ways. Just coming to terms with grace, essentially. And instead of being afraid of what is about to happen, he embraced life, many different aspects, like whether it be colors, tastes, sounds, etc., 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 which basically redefined what mattered, you know? And eventually, as he was, because he was essentially a teacher, he not only became a teacher in his profession, but a teacher of the soul, if you will. So does that mean we have to think about when it is our time to go every single day? Like, do we have to think about our own mortality every single day? To be honest with you, I have my own stories with mortality in general, so I think about it almost every day. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to, right? And I'll explain that in a different video, but not really. It's more so about how your mortality can affect your everyday life. One of the things that I really resonated with in this book, especially from that phrase, is that when you confront the idea of death, everything superficial just kind of just fades away, and what really remains are the things that truly matter, right? So like love, purpose, passion, connection with other people, connection with our memories, or the memories that we've built with the people that we care about the most, right? So I don't know if my dad is going to watch this. For a really long time, I've respected my dad so much. I still do. A lot of my purpose, like going into my early, I guess, 20s, because I'm 28 now as of recording this, was about making sure that my family was straight. Like they're just cool, like I don't have to worry about them financially, etc., 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 that I'll be able to come into the fold and basically provide them all the financial stability that they ever needed or ever would need, if that makes sense. But then as I got older, like 26 to 28, I realized that my parents are already straight, especially after multiple years of them telling me like, well, you don't have to worry about us, worry about you, worry about your business, worry about you being financially stable, etc., 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 where that no longer became my purpose, right? And you know, after hearing like so many stories about my dad and his career and how he developed over time, like he had a very hard life. He won't say that he had a very hard life, but he had a very hard life. And it's not like he's not grateful for it, of course. Like he had so many blessings, of course, and so many people in his life that came to either help him or become a part of it, right? So, including my mom. So, like I realized he got pretty far, like with being himself, you know, just like the way that his life carried over. And I asked him one day, like years ago, like, did you ever have any mentors, like that people would like tell you to aspire for something more? And he just mentioned mainly only mentors in work, right? Like work that he would have to go to, like working a job, this, that, and the third, like on your 9 to 5 and stuff like that. Where on me, on the flip end, I've had a lot of mentors who are not 9 to 5ers, and arguably some really successful people, right? So, including this billionaire, right? Which I still remain in contact today. And I feel personally that my dad, being the person that he is, he would have been able to accomplish much more if he had the type of mentors that I had in my life. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily that situation because he had so many responsibilities, which I won't go into detail, but it was a lot of responsibilities. More so than any man I've ever met or came across. And from realizing that, at first I thought my purpose was to take care of my family, especially my dad, but I knew in order to take care of them, I had to take care of myself. So my purpose kind of shifted then after being introduced to Dan Martell, right? So Dan Martell, he writes a book called Buy Back Your Time. And it's an amazing book if you want to learn how to delegate anything within your business and whatnot, for all my entrepreneurs that are watching this. And he goes, my purpose in life is to be the dude or be the guy that I wish I had when I was 17, because he went through jail, he'd been through a lot of stuff in life, and he wished he had like a mentor at that age, right? So my newest purpose, as of right now, I don't know if it will stay the same for the rest of my life, but I think it's pretty powerful, is something similar to that. It's more so my purpose in life now is to become the person that my dad would have needed when he was my age, right? So like somebody that could have come in and been like, there's another way. There is much more than you can do, even regardless of all the stuff that's currently happening in your life. And I'm a person that believes in you wholeheartedly, regardless of a stable job or not. Like you can accomplish anything, which a lot of my mentors have fed into me as I was growing up, and including my dad, of course. So I would say that's my current purpose, and that's just the reflection of that. You know, how your mortality affects you. It makes me think about my purpose much more now, even to this day, because if I'm not living purposefully, then there's no purpose in living my life. Does that make sense? Now, the second thing that really hit me from this phrase of like, if you don't know how to die, you don't know how to live, thinking about my mortality almost every single day, is essentially living in the present, right? So Maury showed us how to cherish the present. He, like literally every meal, every conversation, every sunrise, every season as the weeks were going by, and he treated them as gifts, right? So when you stop chasing and when you start noticing a lot of stuff that you genuinely love in your life, you start to realize that life becomes richer. Like, at least for me, not so much the seasons, because I live in Miami, so it's really sunny outside. I am grateful for the sun for sure. I'm just a lizard, guys. Just like I need to be in a warm place, but I digress. I'm very appreciative of me investing more time into my family these days, especially with a lot of stuff that's going on in my life. I am very grateful for all the men, the very positive men in my life. Grateful for all the friends that I have in my life that are willing to support my ideas and my accomplishments and this, that, and the third without it feeling kind of like they're jealous or anything like that. I have some really good friends and really good people and a really good family around me, so I'm very grateful for that. So I'm trying to invest back into that as much as possible. Still work like hell, but still the intensity of me going into my work, I also want to implement that into my family in any way that I can. And I feel like I'm getting better and better every single day. But there's still room for improvement. The third thing is letting go of fear, right? So fear of anything, right? So like it's two emotions that genuinely control our actions is essentially love and fear. So it could be fear of failure, it could be fear of judgment, fear of money, fear of regret, and it basically holds back so many people from accomplishing amazing stuff, right? But when you accept your mortality, right, when you accept that the only guarantee that we have in our lives is that you're going to die, and it is inevitable, the fear kind of loses its power, because you're like, why should I be afraid of something that is a truth? Why should I be afraid of something that I know for a fact is going to happen? Why should I be afraid of something that is part of life, you know? So it's essentially made me realize that like I shouldn't be fearful. And yes, of course, there are times where I do become fearful of like my financial situation, like my business, like whether I'm going to lose clients, like whether, like, you know, my parents are getting older, like my friends live so far away from me, like I fear of being alone, like this, all this stuff, you know, just being very vulnerable. And I realize it's like none of that really matters, because fear shouldn't control your life. It's more so just as living with a clear purpose is like living your life purposeful, right? So if I'm living my life purposeful and I'm genuinely, authentically being myself every single day for the rest of my life, because I know that eventually I'm going to die, then I should have no regrets and I should have no remorse for anything that I've done in my life, because I have been holistically and 100% me. So out of all of this, so how do you start living as if you know that you're going to die, right? It's just, I wish I had like a manual or something to give to you. But the first thing that I would say is identify what truly matters to you. The reason being is because once you figure out what truly matters to you, you'll start to realize how much time you're wasting, and you're like how much time you're wasting on the things that don't really matter, like getting more money, sleeping with as many people as possible, trying to garner the attention or friendships of people that actually don't give a crap about you, this, that, and the third. And all those things don't fill your heart. So it's like, why would you even waste your time, the precious time that you got, on those things that don't really matter? So first, figure out what truly matters to you in your life, right? So if it's your friends, fantastic. If it's your family, fantastic. If it's you developing an amazing career, fantastic. Any of those things, just focus on that stuff. And second, I would mention, based off of like Maury's teachings, like Maury Schwartz in the book, I would say just take time not only to figure out what truly matters to you, but once you're doing things that truly matter to you, or you're hanging out with people that truly matter to you, or you're accomplishing things that truly matter to you, just please like revel in the beauty of that. So like if you have a really great accomplishment, just like enjoy it, celebrate it, you know? Because I used to be terrible at this. I used to be like, oh, we just did this amazing thing? We gotta go on and move the goalposts and continue, you know what I'm saying? Like the first time in my business that I made $4,000 online, like consistently every single month via monthly retainers, I just basically went to Chicago. I went to Chicago, had a really great time. I love the city of Chicago more than the city of New York. And I went to Chicago. It was a really great time. It was during the summer, and I had a swell time. And I can look back to that experience that I really enjoyed, because I knew for a fact that in business, there's not a lot of W's, a lot of L's, but not a lot of W's. So I'm going to take that opportunity to do that, because that was the first time that I actually did something online and made money from it, and it was very important to me. So doing things like this, you have to just slow down and just take into consideration that I need to do this thing, because these opportunities and these experiences don't come so lightly into people's lives. Usually some people, they have their whole lives and they don't celebrate anything. So once you find the time to figure out what truly matters to you, just take that next extra step. And when you're actually doing those things or spending the time with the people that actually matter to you, and this, that, and the third, just live slower. Just live slower in those moments, because we like to think that there are a lot of them, but in reality, with how busy life gets, especially after 25, there's not many of them, and you should take the time to revel in those fantastic situations, you know? So what if you started living today as if today was your last, right? So not in a reckless way, but in a mindful way. What would change? And the answer to that question starts with you living your best life. Anyway, you just listened to my ideology on how to live a better life given to me by a billionaire. So make sure to subscribe, and if you want to watch a video on some of my favorite books for entrepreneurship, life, love, and everything else, click here to watch here, and I'll see you in the next one.